Hello, 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 everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Unapologetic Entrepreneur. How's everyone doing today? Trying to feel this background, not feeling it too much, guys. So I'm going to change it back to my white one. Give me a second while I do that. I'm just not feeling this gray tone. It's very down. Let's just bring up my background in white and deal with the shortness of it. How's everybody doing today? Well, today, man, I'm so excited. I just got back from a convention, feeling super excited, thrilled with all the information that I was able to receive that's going to help me propel my business. And I hope all of you are doing the same when it comes to your business. Well, today I got an interesting show today. Okay, today is going to be real simple. I basically did it where it's just going to be me answering some questions and giving you guys some information and some enlightenment on things you can do to enhance your business as well. So today we're going to talk about thinking bigger. Now, let me just make sure I got all my settings here. I do. All right. We're here live. Okay. So today we're going to talk about thinking bigger, and I'm going to give you a self-guide on self-development and killing those limited beliefs. Those limited beliefs is what really, in my convention that I went to, right? My mind was blown because if there's a thread that can go through everyone's training, conversation, or storytelling that was very, very easy to pick up, was one thing. And that is people's limited beliefs. One thing I would like to impress upon you is this is just to start for today. Just a little thing. You can't make more money than what your mind can think of. So I would tell you guys to start thinking about what are the things that are guiding your mindset. Your mindset is everything in this business or in any business, in any entrepreneurship. It's your mindset that's going to help you succeed or fail. Oh, we got some people on. Let's see who's on. Say hello. So I can say hi back to you. I see Jenny, my children's keeper. Who else is on? We got like 5 people on, but I can't see y'all. Why don't you guys say hi? Say hello. All right. Let's see. Let me go right back to my mind notes. Here you go. So today's episode, we're going to be breaking down some things that are going to help you with self-development. If your mind's right, everything else will work into place. This is the biggest tools. It's all about your limited beliefs and what we're going to do to break free from having these limited beliefs. And we're going to use positivity to fuel long-lasting success. So today I'm going to give you some reading material, man. I hope you guys are taking notes or just play back the recording, because I'm going to give you at the end 10 books that you should read. There's 1 or 2 that I need to finish myself. 10 books that should help you with your mindset. And like I said before, once your mind is right, everything else will follow. So today, let's start talking about this. You already know who I am. My name is Leonardo Garcia, and I am your host for today's episode. So let's start real quick. So one of the things that I would tell you that's very big is the power of self-development. I am telling you, it doesn't matter how skillful you are, how talented you are, if you do not know, if you're not emotionally equipped and self-developed enough, no matter what entrepreneurship you are taking place in, it will eat you up and spit you out. Self development is one of the major things. See, any entrepreneurship is 80% mindset, 20% mechanics. Only 20% is about your skills. One of the things that you need to have is self awareness. You're emotional intelligent, and you have to be consistent on helping, very consistent on helping yourself, your team, and running your business plan. So not only is self-development something you need, but so is consistency. How consistent are you in your business? And for those of you that don't know the format of the Unapologetic Entrepreneur, guys, feel free to pop in some questions. I will do my best to answer all your questions. And like I said, today is all about mindset. And I'm going to go over 10 books that you should read. So let's keep going. Let's see if there's anything in the chat real quick. Hello. Hey, Limitless. What's going on, Kira? Thank you for coming on as always and saying hello. So let's go up to my topic over here and let's get started. Let me start with when I start talking about self-development. When it comes to self-development and entrepreneurship, it's not a privilege. It's not a luxury. It's a requirement. If you're not going to do self-development, you might want to reconsider being an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurship does not take off at all if you do not self-develop. You must grow mentally in order to keep everything else running and moving smoothly. I'll tell you, a lot of you know my story. I have 2 masters and 3 bachelors, right? Everybody says, "Oh, that's a big deal." I don't say that to impress anyone. I say that to impress upon you that you would think that I would be equipped and prepared to go from what I used to be in the classroom into the business world. I could tell you right now, when I first started, that was the biggest mistake I even thought, and people assumed as well, because no matter how much I knew from school, no matter how much I knew from being in the classroom, I was not prepared mentally for the ups and downs of being an entrepreneur, knowing your worth, being paid on what you do and helping people. There's a big difference between 1099 and W-2. 1099, you get paid what you're worth. And how you develop your self-worth? Being self-developed. The more developed you are, the more value you will bring to the table. And value is what you really end up being paid for. And just to give you a thought on how that would work. Now, you have to be self-aware. Now, how would one person become self-aware? All this happens in little increments. One of the biggest things that I can say has worked for myself is the people around me. I know you guys are probably tired of hearing that, your circle, but it's your circle of influence, not only around you, but above you. See, the unit that I am part of, when I'm talking about unit, I'm talking about family, friends, loved ones, those people that you trust. You got to really trust them with the intel they give you about yourself. Now, you guys have to have open communication, and then you know what to look for. But I'm going to give you tidbits on what you should be looking for when you're going to start self-developing. First thing is you want to create a strong mindset. I'm going to give you a book now from my list that you should definitely look into. How many of you? Well, it's hard to see who's going to say me because there's not a Zoom. But if you haven't picked up the book Relentless, that's a good one by Mr. Grover. Relentless is gonna get you working on your mindset. make you stronger of mind. You should definitely read any book. And here's something I learned. When you hear something such as advice, let me take this. I don't want to. When you start hearing advice or you read a book, see in my career, I should say, my entrepreneurship, we learn about the rule of 72 and how it affects you. Here's something I learned. There's a different rule of 72. And I found this to be so impressive. When you hear something that you should apply to your business, if you do not apply it in 72 hours, it's done. When you hear something, you must apply it right away. If you apply it, then it becomes part of you. Hey, what's going on, coach? It's funny because I was just about to bring you up. See, I was at this conference, and when they said that, it hit it hit me like a drum real fast. Like, we got 72 hours to apply something we've heard. A lot of people that I know of read these books, but they just read them. They don't apply anything. If you're not applying any of the stuff you're reading, then guess what? You're not developing. So therefore, you're back at square one. It's just words. And after hearing this, I was discussing with one of my mentors, Mr. Torello, which is on, and he was like, 72 hours is way too long. You should be doing it in 24 hours. Start applying it right away, even if you don't master it, because guess what? It will create consistency. And once you create it as a habit, now you're going to start seeing the growth. Oh, God, are we already starting? Let's see what we have here. Self-development should not only be applied to your business, but it should be applied to a lifestyle change, a true transformation to begin the journey of a better person and leader. You cannot lead a team if you can't lead your own life. Ain't that the truth? It starts with you. You have to be your first 24 shot clock. I like that. Instead of the rule 72, we're going to adopt that as the 24-hour shot clock. We're going to adopt a little bit of basketball. You got 24 hours to change, to apply something that you read right away. Again, those of you that are watching, feel free to chime in the conversation. I'll be going back and forth. So once you have that part on self-development, and you have the people around you that are going to make you aware of your blind spots and tell you what you need to become more consistent on, here's the other part that works very well for success. And I'm going to say these things that apply to me. You need a routine. I'm a routine individual. I wake up in the morning. Let me tell you, I need to get better. I used to wake up every day at 5 o'clock in the morning. It's been a little struggle. I'm not going to lie. So my days usually start around 6 in the morning. And I do the same things in the morning. First, I start with my devotions, word to God, prayer, cover myself, ready for the world. And then it's the same routine that I follow. What routines are you following? Your routines and habits are everything. If you have bad habits, you're going to have to cut them out. Anyone that's watching, how long does it take to start and eliminate a habit? Anyone? I'll give you 2 seconds before I give you the answer. I'm looking here. 1, 2, 3. Okay. It takes 21 days. 21 days to develop a habit. And same thing to eliminate a habit. 21 days. So here's an exercise that I've done. And it might help. I'm going to let it out here. I did this one time in a training. I call it the ugly truth. Take a piece of paper, fold it in half, look at yourself in the mirror, start from the inside out. I'm not going to get too detailed. Start from the inside out. And on one side, write all the things you dislike. On the other side, write all the things you like and love about yourself, right? Now, once you look at the side that you don't like, for each one of them, behind the piece of paper, you should write what you're going to do to improve or change that, and then start that habit. In 21 days, you should be able to start eliminating some of the things you don't like, and you should be adding things that you like to the column that you have on the right side. It helps you create a habit, and if it's not written, you don't see it. A lot of us think about it, but we don't see it. You have to be able to see the habit, and you have to start doing it purposely, intentfully for things to change. All right, so that's another one. Now, breaking your limited beliefs Oh man, see, that's another thing that I got in this conference. Let me see. Any questions before I go? Another thing I got in the conference that I went to, it was like a just straight up mastermind, hours of people just pouring into you that have already walked the footsteps that you're trying to get to. It's amazing to hear from them. Um, One thing that hit me like a ton of bricks was your income cannot grow past your thought process, what you think of. So a lot of people get stuck at a certain income level in entrepreneurship because they can't fathom making more. They don't give themselves the opportunity. They're not thinking big enough. You have to really think big. And if you don't know how to, that's when having the right people around you is definitely going to take. Oh, there we go. The answers are coming in 21 days. It's very important for you to start taking belief. See, I'm very lucky in the sense, and I'm able to say that now. I get a phone call and I talk about this call all the time. It comes in randomly, maybe every 2 to 3 days. And it'll come in and I say hello. And I start getting, you are him. You are the man. You this and that, just pouring all this optimism into me. And I got to find a way to accept it, grab it, but yet stay humble. And most of the time I don't accept it. That's the issue I'm having. It takes me a little while and then I start accepting it. But it's not just to say, they're not just blowing smoke when they're telling me this. They're giving me examples. This is why it's important to have the right people by you, because when they feed that belief into you and you start believing it, that enhances your growth right away. Guess what happens when you enhance your growth? You enhance the ability to make more money. You advance the ability to help more people. In our business, in my business, it's all about helping people and educating. So the more I know and the more people I'm able to help, in turn, the more blessed I will be. So having those people expanding my limited belief is a big deal. It's very easy to think very negatively. It's too easy. It takes twice as much power to be positive than it does to be negative. I wonder why. That's just what society has done. So we have to work hard to constantly fill ourselves with the positive mental capacity in order to move forward. And these are some of the things that I've been able to work on that I also received during this beautiful mastermind I was going to. And I was just receiving all these, as we call them, nuggets that just help me improve and improve. And now I'm ready to just apply so much more. I have notes and notes of things that I'm going to be applying. Let me see let me make sure there's no questions up here. Any questions? Okay. So let's go into the next one. The next thing that I would like to talk about besides your limited belief is, here are some things that play into your limited belief, guys. And you really have to work. This is the main reason personal development is very much needed. Because some of us, I say that a lot of people that go into entrepreneurship have to be very careful, especially in our business. I'm used to seeing people that come one of three ways: broke, broken, or broke and broken. What do I mean by that? Limited on funds, don't have money. And number two, they have no self-confidence. Everything inside them, they come with childhood traumas. If you go back a few episodes, you will see how we were talking about how trauma really affects the entrepreneur. And if we don't take care of, overload ourselves with personal development and learning how to deal with those traumas and those triggers, it's just going to hold us back. So that's where a lot of these limited beliefs come from. It comes from childhood trauma. It comes from not accepting failure. And here's one that I really had, maybe some of you agree with me. Here's one that I had early and maybe midway through my entrepreneurship is the fear of success. You start thinking about how abundant you can have it, and it sort of scares you, but you don't know how to handle that fear. The fear of success is a real thing. In my family, I don't know any entrepreneurs. And I couldn't imagine, even though I always wanted to be, I don't know, a store owner, bodega owner. I always saw myself as some type of owner of something. renting property. I don't know. I always saw it. But that limited belief of, can I actually do this? And then everybody in my family telling me I'm crazy for leaving the field that I was in the education field, something secure, really scared me. What if I do make it? What then? What do I do? And I had to figure out how to change that into a positive. Yeah, I will make it. What am I going to do? How am I going to change not only my life, but generations? How am I going to change my son's life? By giving him the option to think of being an entrepreneur. I am the black sheep in that sense. Um, like I said, I was one of the first to ever end up in college, and now I just switched that, and I could have been an entrepreneur without going to college, but guess what? I'm better for it. Discuss the challenges entrepreneurs face when navigating the divide between their aspirations and their sense of identity. Oh, golly, boy, that was a good one. Here's some of the challenges. Let me break that down. Discuss the challenges entrepreneurs face when navigating the divide between their aspirations and their sense of identity. Well, first, you got to have an identity, coach. In my opinion, you got to have an identity, and you have to find that identity. Once you do, you really got to fight to stay on the right side. And again, man, it's been such a big deal for me when it comes to staying in my own head and in my own skin. One of the things that I have learned is, even when you have your aspirations and you write down your goals and you write down your affirmations and you read them to yourself every day, to just create that belief and keep creating that identity, living as if you are before you get there. There's a difference between living as what you're going to be and faking it till you make it. That's a slight difference. When you're faking it, you might not get there. When you're manifesting it and you're walking in those shoes, there's a whole different walk and vibe. So I want to make sure that that I emphasize that part. But once you find that identity, it is um it is imperative for you not to use your own brain all the time. Because if you stay in your own head, a lot of times you start questioning yourself. And what's worked for me is having other more successful other people that think differently than I do, being able to use their brain because they've been through where I'm going through. So if I use their mind and start talking with them about what my struggles are, it usually helps propel me to that next level step by step. So I think it's imperative. Again, that circle of friends is so important. Think about it. Everybody has heard this phrase before. Show me your five friends. If you got five broke friends, you're number six. If you got five rich people around you, you'll be number six. It's very important to make sure you keep the right people around you. When you hit rock bottom financially, what mindset shift and decisions helped you start climbing back up? Woo! Desperation will do something crazy to you. When I hit rock bottom, I had to turn. My mindset was very, very different, and it stayed that way after I hit rock bottom. It wasn't too long ago, and as an entrepreneur, you go up and down constantly, guys. By the way, but to find that consistency and knowing to catch yourself before hitting rock bottom is very important. But when I hit that line, that I didn't even know if I was going to be able to pay my bills, if I was going to keep the light on. I remember one time I paid my phone bill, then my internet went out, and I paid my internet bill, and I had to pick, and that turned. Then I 10 minutes later that came on, and I was already late on my rent, and I had to figure out what I was going to do with what I had left, and I had to invest in my business. That's what helped propel, is making decisions. But what happened was I really, really started being much more coachable. Thank God our business comes with it's like business in a box. In our business, we have the right cats that you can copy. And if you seek the certain information, people are going to tell you what to do. The question is, are you going to do it? Are you going to humble yourself enough to do it? Are you going to swallow your pride? Are you going to forget everything that you've already learned? And are you really willing to step into this role and trust 100% what's being told to you? So to answer that question, Cherry, what I did was exactly that. Humbled myself 100%. Um, was I was doing more of what I was told instead of thinking. It was more of an action. In all entrepreneurship, I think that action is important. Yes, self-development is just as important, but what happens if you have no action to it? It's dead. You know, you have to actually work. And once you do, you'll be rewarded for it. So all I did is keep on working, put my head down. And once I developed a stride, I slowly but surely started to get into my own and thinking and advancing what I was doing and advancing my belief. Once my belief started growing, I noticed my income started growing. I started talking differently with clients. So that helped me. Um, all the belief, all the confidence inside you will not come out until you start believing in yourself. And that all does come and stem from taking action on the self development and the books that I read, podcasts that I listen to, um, uh, even shows that you watch. Anything you watch should be feeding your mind. And that's all you should surround yourself around to see the change and transformation. It's all about action. Which do you believe leads to greater success in the world? A solid education or a strong hustle? Hmm. I think it's both, but I think you need. See, you could be smart. You could be as smart as you want to be, but I don't think that someone that's just smart that has no action is going to beat someone that's full of hustle. I think someone that can grind and hustle. And I've been working since I was 12 years old. I'm 46 for the record. I don't have a problem saying my age. I've been working since I was 12 years old. I started with just bagging people's groceries at what we used to call Food Town, which doesn't exist anymore. And I didn't even have working papers. I would go around and I would shovel snow in the winter to make money. So I've been working forever and I've outworked a lot of people that I've gone to school with because I've always been working. Working is not an issue for me. So that's one of that's my opinion on that. Now I'm going to give you some books to go through. Let's see. Here's some books that you should look into, and these are just some. I've read most, but let's go into the list. Number one that I mentioned was Relentless. School education is overrated. Absolutely. In school, they don't teach you. Look, school is good. Here, I'm going to say it right now. As an educator, school is overrated, but there are some things that you need to learn. What you should learn in school: reading, writing, and arithmetic. You're never going to use the Pythagorean theorem. How do I'm trying to understand why I had to teach the Pythagorean theorem, but I never taught kids how to balance a checkbook when I did math. I don't get it. So yeah, a lot of things are overrated in education, but I think that if you break it down, what they're trying to teach you in education is how to think. Now they also try to put a cap on you. So I think that school is not the only place you learn. I think as parents, we have to make sure that we teach our kids too, because that's where they're going to receive the other education. But that is a true comment. Here's book number one. Thank you, Coach. Book number one: Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. This is a classic book. It's all about mindset and it's the blueprint to wealth and purpose, guys. Think and Grow Rich. And I would say that if you can read, you should read it. I don't care if you're in fifth grade, sixth grade, give it to your kids. There's a great book. Here's another book. Before I get another question, I want to make sure I put this one: The Magic of Thinking Big. This teaches you how to expand your vision. Um, it'll eliminate small thinking. See, that's one of the problems I had. I told you at the beginning, I couldn't imagine myself making, when I was teaching, I started at 50,000. That was a lot back then, believe it or not. Okay. Because I started with a 10,000 signing bonus because the profession was dying. So they were basically paying people an extra $15,000 just to sign a contract. I took advantage of that. I ended up teaching in the same district I was actually a student in. and it worked out. I was started out at $50,000 that year, but I couldn't imagine making six figures. Here I am right out of college, 24 years old. And I was like, man, I don't, really didn't have too many bills. I thought I was a great amount of money. Obviously, you got to make six figures now in order to live normally, the way inflation and everything else hit. So when I saw myself hitting over six figures, it sounds like a lot. I told everybody you could look it up, 136,000 a year. You would think is a lot of money. That's W-2, ladies and gentlemen. That is called paper rich. That's what you sign. After all those taxes are gone, that's not the same money. So as an entrepreneur, being able to balance and write things off and see that you make six figures is a whole different number, and it's a whole different game. That's why entrepreneurship is so important. And now you start to think big. I mean, I was just in a room with people that were making 100,000 a month. I was in a room with people that were making 1 million a year, and they're just like you and me, normal. They bleed blue, yes, before oxygen hits. They just bleed normal, like me and you. Regular, they have regular conversations. I can't tell you they're so much smarter than I am. And it's amazing that the main difference is that they're able to, that's the main difference between them and who I used to be, is that I couldn't envision seeing that. It's important to expand your mind. Once your mind expands, it can't go back. So all of you that are afraid of thinking big, that's a book that you should definitely read, The Magic of Thinking Big. Here's another one, Atomic Habits. I just mentioned how habits change everything for you, right? Atomic Habits. That one's by James Clear. And that one shows you how small habits lead to massive transformation. Forget change. We're talking about transformation. See, here's the difference. Change is changing one thing, right? Little by little. It takes many changes to create a transformation. That book will help you with that. That book will help you with that. Let's see, we have some comments. Let me go there real quick. See what we got here. Oh, yes, I'm doing my list. It was overrated. Think, not work. What is that? Is that a book, sir? Please comment on that. We got over here, I love the book. One of my favorites, Think and Grow Rich. We got Cherry that also agrees with Atomic Habits. Great book too. And I totally agree. Replying to Mr. Tarolia. So let me see. Let me go back to my list real quick. All right. Here's one. This one helped me with my it's funny. They say be careful what you pray for. A lot of people say that they pray for patience, and all they find is they put themselves in situations where they got to learn to be patient. God has a sense of humor. Remember that. But patience is key in our business, especially in my organization. A lot of people say that I'm unbothered. I'm bothered. I just learned how to deal with certain things different through personal development and not getting angry, because I used to get angry real easy. Oh man, it was so easy to get me upset. And I used to have bad days. If I stubbed my toe on the bed, it was a bad day. Now I understand that we have bad moments. I will never have another bad day. It would have to have a lot of things to happen for me to have a bad day. I'm entitled to have a bad moment. But you got to brush it off and keep moving. And one of the books that helped me start thinking like that was the Four Agreements. This is all about inner peace and personal freedom. The Four Agreements is a book that I think everybody should read. Again, as Takira said earlier, not only for just business, but lifestyle. I think it's needed for both. Oh, think and grow rich, not work and grow rich one day. True, got it. So I think that the Four Agreements is a very important book, especially for that. Oh, and if you guys would have been here on this show about 4 weeks ago, you would have gotten this book for free. The next one, which I'm right now, is kind of funny. I read all his other books, but never read this one. I think I didn't want to buy into the hype. Plus, I found out that one of his books should have came before this one, so I never got to this one. And it's the 10x rule by Uncle G, Grant Cardone. You know, the 10x rule. I'm only on the third chapter. Great book. We had a challenge to read Be Obsessed or Be Average. Now that book should have came before the 10x rule. He actually said that in an interview that should have been that should be like a prequel, but it came out after. Grant Cardone is always thinking so many steps ahead that I think he just let out the 10x rule out of excitement, and that's what happened. But if you were watching, you should have gotten a free copy, and you should be reading that book. What do you think is the worst critical advisor in your head or your limited beliefs? What is my worst? What do you think is worse? What do you think is worse, the critical advisor in your head or limited beliefs? The critical advisor. Limited beliefs, I think you can leverage the people around you to help you with the limited beliefs. But someone who's an overthinker and has that critical advisor in their head, they get stuck on bubblegum. You get stuck on things you should not be stuck on. You start overthinking about what you're going to do, or what should I do first? What should I do next? It's that critical advisor. Oh, maybe if you do this, or you shouldn't do that. You guys really got to fire that critical advisor. A critical advisor is someone that's in your head. It's like the left and the right shoulder. You know, you got the angel on one side, the devil on the other. It's like the devil's overpowering the angel on the other side. You got to get rid of the critical advisor. Go with your gut. Start thinking like I've told you before. Use your inner circle to help you. Even better, when you have an idea, I wish I could show you my board. My board right there says do it now. Don't think about it. I used to be, I do not accept that anymore. I do not receive this, but I used to be an overthinker. Constantly thinking, what if I do this? But what if I do that? Maybe I could do this better. All that did was slow down my progress. It didn't help no one. It didn't help me. It didn't help the clients I was attempting to help. It didn't help anyone. I was stuck on bubblegum. So that critical advisor, fire him, Takira. If you have one of those, fire him. Now I'm going to go back to my books. The 10X rule. Well, that one teaches you on how to push your limits and take massive, not take action, take massive action. Everyone who went to this conference with me right now, I know right now in their mind, all they're thinking about is the massive action they're about to embark on, because they're going to change their lives by adding more and more action to it. Here's another book. This one I have not read yet. You Are a Badass. Excuse my language, but that's the title. You Are a Badass. I'm wondering, I'm going to have to ask my mentor if he read that one, because I never have. The next two books, I never read them, and it was suggested to read them. I had them on my list to read, and it's You're a Badass. And also, and I thought this was a typo. I was actually looking it up before I even got this, but it was The War of Art. I thought it was The Art of War, but no, it's The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield. This is going to teach you how to master the inner resistance and take control of your creativity, which now I understand the title, but it's The War of Art. That one I have not read yet. Here's a oldie but a goodie. Mindset by Carol Dweck. It's all about the growth mindset versus the fixed mindset. It's going to teach you how to transform an approach to learning and failure. There's a difference in that. So you're going to learn about your growth mindset as well as your fixed mindset. And I remember last year we were actually talking about this, and we stopped for some reason, and there was like a whole mastermind on this. Guys, that's another way that you can actually help feed your mind, is join as many of these masterminds that you see, especially if they're free. They're full of value. They're only going to expand your brain. But that's one of them. And I got two more for you guys. Then I'm going to check if there's any questions. The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. This one's going to teach you how to live and lead from the present moment. From now, it starts from now. So that is the power of now. I will put these. I will put this list in the conversation once I'm done with this, because I don't think I could write if I write here. And then the last one I already told you, Tim Grover. This is an excellent book. If you're going to do, and oh God, if some of you are going to do the no sugar diet that he talks about, beware. I've done it. Um, your body's going to go through some real serious changes, and that book is relentless. Your body is going to go through. So I am giving you the warning now. Have a lot of water. Your body is going to go through some serious changes if you do that. There's a whole diet that he does in that book, that a lot of people. I attempted it and I did it for about 2 weeks, and let me tell you, it's a whole different ball game. So let me make sure I put these 10 books. See if I can put them in the chat for you, and then I'm going to give you some closing remarks. If there are no questions, let's see if I can write this in the chat. Maybe I can chat here. Maybe I can't. Let's see. Let's find out. Nope, cannot post there. Okay, so I will post it in the chat after this is over. Let me see. Many of these masterminds, many of these masterminds may be all hype. And so how do you choose the ones that truly deliver? Well, here's how I choose the one that truly deliver. I follow certain people. So the people that I follow, they suit me. So you got to find that. Also, you are more than entitled to look people up. But like for example, I've done a lot of masterminds or things with Grant Cardone. It's somebody I follow. Um, I have a great mentor that has read so many books that every time that there's a mastermind, see, I got a cheat code, guys. See, this is why mentorship is important. You should get your own mentor too. Every one of you should have your own mentor. But I get little like register for this type of thing. And once I register, it's easy because now I'm part of that email list. So when something new comes up, I'm entitled to go check it out if I want to or not. And at first, you're going to get the free value, right? And then you're going to see if it's worth it for you to pay for something if they gave you enough value. So you should be spending money, or I should say, investing money in your self development. A lot of people want it all for free. That's not how it works. You can't tell me that you're willing to pay for sneakers, but you're not willing to pay for something that's going to expand your mind. That doesn't make sense. So that's how I know. Some of them are a lot of hype, but if you start looking for, if you're following certain people in your field, um, that's how I choose them, Mark. Also, like I said, I have a cheat code. So you guys want, you could right here subscribe. I'll make sure you become part of my cheat code. When what is most powerful message you received from the convention that made you have a aha moment that will not only help you but your team enhance their business? I apply anything that you learn in 72 hours. I think application is one of the biggest things that most people that are on the team have. They think too much instead of applying right away. That's something I learned that I think is very big. Also, how to talk to people, the connection. In our business, we're in the people business. So having that connection that leads to other people. So everyone goes for something different, though, to answer your question. We're all at different levels, but the main thing that I think is action. I saw if everybody was looking for a common theme, it would be that the faster you move, the better off you'll be. So I and again, there's different tools within every speaker that we saw and learned from that it's going to hit some people differently. But the common thread was action, 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 and relinquish and release fear. That's what's stopping most people. I hope that answers your question. What is I think we have another one. What is one message you received? Oh, I think you already answered that. You just wrote it twice. My aha moment is the same thing though. It was just about action, man. I thought, I thought I was taking action. I haven't even started scratching the surface, and I wasn't doing that bad. But it's time to really pick it up a notch. Instead of all these ideas that I got in this cranium, it's time to relinquish them and start investing more in myself and move a lot faster. It's all about speed. That's one thing that I could tell you that I learned to accept. Nobody there I could say is like better than me. What I could say is that they got to the opportunity first, and they're taking massive action. And if you're taking enough action, that action will multiply. And you have every tool you need, especially in our business, to succeed if you're humble enough to listen. God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, so you can listen more than you speak. You're writing the same message 3 times. Let's see what we got here. Oh, there goes another one. Never quit. Yep, absolutely. Never quit. Never quit. Could that also apply for your personal life with your wife and children, or do you separate entrepreneurship mindset from personal life? I think personal life and entrepreneurship, I think your business is part of your life. So there's a separation in time, maybe how you would you share your time, but I think that entrepreneurship, personal, family, wife, kids, all that to me is like a braid. It all braids together. I think it has to work together in order for it to work. I don't think it's not like a 9 to 5. As a matter of fact, your business is like an infant. You can literally take your business and go through the stages of how it grows the same way you can of your infant, because it starts off where it needs you a lot. The more you feed it, the more you work at it, it starts to crawl, and you start to see a certain type of income where you just reinvest it into the business and you keep feeding it, and it starts to walk on and it starts to walk by itself, and little by little your business will eventually, if you do it the right way, now start taking care of you instead of you taking care of it. Guess what happens to us when we get older? Our kids take care of us. We start out taking care of them. I think that business and personal, if you start separating, guys, this is for me. I'm not a billionaire. I don't have 20,000 businesses open. I'm just telling you how I feel it works out for me personally. If you're an entrepreneur, your business, your family, your personal is all braided together. And you have to have it work together in order to so it could work efficiently. It's really hard to just be like, "Duh, that's business. Oh, that's personal," especially with personal development. It teaches you how to work simultaneously through all of it. I hope that answers your question. All right, let's see. We got any more? Oh, okay. Let me go back. That was a good one, though. Appreciate your guys' participation. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if there are no more questions, I want to lead you into something really big. Here's my closing thought. And I got big news for you guys. Big news for all of you watching. During this conference, I learned a lot about myself. For a while, I was just sitting there quietly and just watching what people were saying, and it motivated me to say I will be spend a lot more time speaking to people from that stage as opposed to listening to people from this chair. I learned I learned that one of my lessons was clap for others because one day they're going to clap for you. Two, I learned that you really only have one shot. There's no dress rehearsal. Life is not a dress rehearsal. You have to give it your all. If you're going to really work into your business, give it 100%. Humble yourself, self develop. Really, really, really put in all your effort. Because I feel that sometimes half step it. Don't want to say a different word. We gingerly walk like we're gonna do it. We're gonna try. You know how many people say I'm gonna try? Don't do that. Really, really just go all in. You might surprise yourself. Find those 5 people that are going to influence you in the business the most and trust them. Let them give you a reason not to trust them before you start sizing them up. That's only going to stun your growth. And please read and apply. Read books, apply them. I'll say the list of them one more time real quick before I go and before my special announcement. 1, Think and Grow Rich. 2, The Magic of Thinking Big. 3, Atomic Habits. 4, The 4 Agreements. 5, The 10X Rule. 6, You Are a Badass. 7, The War of Art. 8, Mindset. 9, The Power of Now. And 10, Relentless. Start with those. Start with your own little library right there. And there's many others. That's just a start. Look up what books. Once you start reading one of these books, especially if you do Audible, they give you a list of books that you could pick from. They're all mindset. It's all about mindset, expanding your mindset. Once your mindset is expanded, it can't shrink back down. Now, for next week, I have a guest, guys. Now, in this conference, I was able to make a connection with the CEO of the company. You guys have time to round up your questions. But next week, I will have none other than Mr. Jamie Prickett. And we're going to talk about his story from rags to riches. Set your time. We're going to be here 5 o'clock. Scan right here, right? So you can subscribe. You don't want to miss that one. Like and share. Once again, next week on the Unapologetic Entrepreneur, we will have Mr. Jamie Prickett. Guys, I want to take this time to say thank you for being with me today. Hopefully I gave you some type of value. Man, I know my mind's expanded. Just putting this together for you guys really expanded my mind because there's 2 books there I got to read. It's been an honor, a pleasure, and a privilege. Thank you for coming out. God bless y'all. Talk to you.